This is a Maroon way of peeling coconut in the jungle.
Let's see it.
Picky bo.
Right now we are in the John Crow Hills, deep in the Blue Mountains of Jamaica, and things are about to get super interesting.
We're here at the Scotts Hall Maroon town, and the Maroons were originally escaped slaves who carved out autonomous regions within the hills of Jamaica. We're meeting up with Colonel Pink, who's the leader of this community. He's going to share more about Maroon culture and what makes them unique in Jamaica.
The Maroons are descended from West African slaves brought to Jamaica by the Spanish. They escaped slavery and fled to the mountains to live off the land with the Taino Indians.
But their numbers surged in 1655. When the British invaded Jamaica, the Spanish abandoned their plantations and more slaves escaped to join the Maroons in Jamaica's isolated Central Mountains.
When the British tried to take control, the Maroons fought 2 guerrilla wars, eventually forcing the British to recognize their autonomy and establish their freedom in the late 1700s, more than 50 years before the British abolished the slave trade and over 200 years before Jamaica's independence.
I am Colonel Rudolph Pink, and you're in Scotts Hall Maroon town.
My name is Rodine Rose, right? I am one of the captain of the Scotts Hall Maroon town.
My name is Gart Matux, and I'm one of the captain and dancer.
My name is Kishana Robinson, and I am one of the drummer. Thank you.
My name is Marco, and I'm one of the vagabrothers. And this is
And I'm Alex, and I'm also one of the vagabrothers.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to meet you guys.
Just to explain some more about a Maroon town, right? Remember, back in the day, most of our foreparents were enslaved by the Spanish. You know, we come from Africa, so we know much about the bush and about guerrilla warfare. We are the only people that forced the English to come and sign a treaty with us. We were the first independent people of Jamaica. We the Maroon.
Is that a warning to the farmer up there saying it's you guys, it's okay?
Well, it's just signal that, well, there's no harm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no harm.
Oh, wow.
No threat.
So when we were coming up the valley, you guys were blowing that.
Oh yeah, to clear the road, make sure we keep all the way clear. Meaning you signal the community that there's visitors in the community, and you know they don't need to be worried about nothing at all. Everything is all cool.
That's so cool.
You get a very diplomatic escort by the Maroons, Maroon warriors.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's just a really fascinating story, you know? This culture has been here for hundreds of years. The first freed people here in Jamaica, and they did it through perseverance and willpower.
So Colonel Pink and the captain just explained to us that this village is now turning itself into a tourist destination with a bed and breakfast and cultural experiences open to visitors.
So we're in the back of this flatbed truck going down this dirt road heading down to the river. It's pretty awesome. The entire group is here with their drums, with their horns, making a racket. This is wild right now. Like honestly, I had no idea we'd be doing this, but I'm so happy that we did.
I have to say, as a traveler, it's such a privilege to be able to see this, to be able to partake in this. And you can see from these mountains here that This is really rugged terrain. If you can't tell, we are bouncing around. And it's this impassable terrain that first allowed the Maroons to escape here from British rule and then has since allowed them to preserve their culture.
So one of the squatters just climbed the fruit tree. He's like 20 feet in the air and he's just chucking ripe apples down. As you can see, very nice, very nice.
It's not easy to get in, it's not easy to get out, but we're finding that if you make it here, it's very much worth the trip.
Someone moving in a new direction. I want to give you.
Alright guys, so we have taken the truck down to this village in the middle of this valley. It's down by the river, and now we are heading into the jungle. We're cruising with the Maroon, and we're going in.
You're free.
We're standing next to what's literally called the Erie River, and Jamaica is full of rivers. That's where the name comes from. The Taino people were the original inhabitants of Jamaica. In Arawak, their language, this means the land of wood and water. Jamaica still is one of the biggest producers of potable water in the world. That's why cruise ships stop here to restock, and they still export their water as far as Singapore and other countries.
I want to give you the best of me.
Picky-bo,
What's that mean?
maroon pitney.
So it's picking fruit.
Yeah, he's picking fruit.
Cause I can say.
Just like this, natural water, we have to wash it.
It's kind of like a plum. One of the things that is fascinating, it just seems like every couple of feet we're being stopped and told that this plant is used for that, or this fruit is edible, or you can make a spice or a marinade. I think that's one of the coolest things about being here. We're getting some serious knowledge on the usage of all the different plants.
I want to give you the best of me.
Want some?
The Maroons only survived because they knew how to live off of the land. So I also think it's really interesting how the structure of the society has military names like colonel, captain. It's almost like you can see how this was a culture that was formed during wartime, and that cohesion of like being a unit walking through these valleys, you can still kind of see where it came from. It's very cool.
But it's all peace and love now. All peace and love now.
No more war.
No.
Right behind us is a waterfall, and back in the day this was the only entrance into the Maroons village, which would have been way up there.
Here was the only entrance to the Maroon village because we never make road or anything. Because the English in them big shoes couldn't manage them a place here. That's why they couldn't have access to Scotts Hall. We always use the river as a road.
So we just arrived at the river and we had a really interesting surprise. Some more of the Maroon community just came up the river with some spear guns, fishing. This is the way that the Maroons have traditionally fished for food to eat, but it looks like the freshest way to catch a fish.
want to tell you thanks for coming here, and we look forward in everything being a success. We said thanks to Yen King Kong, which is the Almighty God. We say we are Kamba, knocking our family. We are Kamba, knocking our family. Bless.
Well, that was one of the coolest experiences we've had in a very, very long time.
Big up to the Scotts Hall Maroon community for welcoming us into their lands and sharing their culture with us so that we can show it to you guys. So definitely, if you come to Jamaica, make sure you check out the Maroons.
Yes.
We'll leave some contact information in the info box because the door is open.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed that video, you know what to do. Thumbs up, share it with your friends. Drop a comment and subscribe if you haven't already.
All right, guys, in the meantime, stay curious, keep exploring, and we'll see you guys on the road. Peace.
This is insane.